When did making plans get this complicated? It's time to streamline with WhatsApp, the secure messaging app that brings the whole group together. Use polls to settle dinner plans. Send event invites and pin messages so no one forgets Mom's 60th. And never miss a meme or milestone. All protected with end-to-end encryption. It's time for WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone. Learn more at whatsapp.com.
Doug.
Limu and I always tell you to customize your car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. But now, we want you to feel it. Cue the emu music, Limu.
Save yourself money today. Increase your wealth. Customize and save, we say.
That may have been too much feeling.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
This is Optimal Health Daily, Mindful Indulging, Having What You Want Without Guilt by Sharada Hall with tinybuddha.com. And I'm Dr. Neil Malik, your host. Hey there, welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. This is the podcast where I act as your very own personal narrator and read to you from some of the most popular health and fitness blogs online. All right, and with that, let's get right to our next article as we optimize your life. Mindful Indulging, Having What You Want Without Guilt by Sharada Hall with tinybuddha.com. Quote, "You only lose what you cling to." Buddha. I used to cling to my identity as a person who didn't eat donuts. To me, donuts represent all that is tempting and yet forbidden. Any self-respecting natural health doctor is not supposed to like donuts, right? This image I held of myself almost cost me one of the important realizations of my life. 20 years ago, I was in the midst of my training to become an Ayurvedic health practitioner. I held tightly and proudly to my dietary restrictions like a fundamentalist's religion. The ancient medical system of India dictated that since I was out of balance with too much phlegm, I was to avoid all wheat, dairy, fried foods, and sugar. So, donuts were definitely a no-no. On my path to learn Ayurveda, I also began studying the Sanskrit language in which the original medical books were written. I found myself at a yoga ashram in San Francisco to attend a Sanskrit class, or so I thought. What I promptly came face to face with was a 65-year-old Indian saint in neon orange robes and dark wraparound glasses asking me, "Who are you?" As is traditional in an ashram, after our meditation and Sanskrit lesson, we all gathered around Guruji as he blessed the food that had been brought to be passed around and shared. A plate of glazed donut pieces came my way. I politely refused. Looking back, I can't even believe I did that, not to mention I absolutely love glazed donuts. I felt so sure of myself. I was on an Ayurvedic diet after all, and this particular teacher was also an Ayurvedic physician, so surely he would understand. He patiently listened to my explanation and then told me to go ahead and eat the donuts. "But my diet," I said. "Eat the donuts," he countered. As I realized that everyone was looking at me like I was crazy for arguing with Guruji over the donuts, I gave in. I ate one piece. Then he handed me 3 more. I ate them. Inside I was thinking, oh, how delicious, I really wanted these donuts. He kept piling more donuts on my plate until I really couldn't eat any more. Since that moment long ago, I think I've grown up a bit in my attitude about my desire and ego. I like to think that I more freely admit my desires and let go of clinging to any image of myself that's out of sync with those desires. How liberating to be able to be honest about ourselves without judgment, to have a self-image that's realistic, not idealistic. I talk about food a lot with my patients, and we often get to the point where we uncover some unhealthy habits. Rather than either of us expressing judgment about it, we try to acknowledge those desires and explore them. We try and see where there's room to negotiate. There are always foods or habits that someone will feel guilty about. Often it's sugar or alcohol. On the one hand, if I forbid the sugar, that patient might never come back and we will have lost some potential healing. On the other hand, what's wrong with a little indulgence in moderation? Because of that life-changing moment with the donuts, I'm more prone to suggest that a desire be indulged mindfully. There can be so much stress about denying a desire. I truly believe that the stress of not doing something is more harmful than just doing it with mindfulness and then letting it go. How much joy can be found in savoring a small piece of chocolate unencumbered by guilt? Nothing takes the autopilot out of an action like mindfulness. I'm not talking about indulging addictions, just simple desires. Maybe it's ice cream or potato chips. For everyone, it's something different to feel guilty about. With mindfulness, sometimes the desires can be seen as acts of rebellion. So many times we crave things that are self-destructive just to be rebellious, like a teenager. Then we feel guilty afterward. I don't want to feel guilty or be in denial. I just want to make conscious choices. When I allow myself to admit the desire for what it is, I find that the desire has less of a hold on me. I'm able to enjoy it and let it go instead of clinging to denial, guilt, and a false self-image. After one of my most naive and self-righteous moments, I finally surrendered and happily lost the image of myself I was stubbornly clinging to. Now I try to do that without so much prodding. Here are a few steps that may help you let go of your need to deny yourself and indulge mindfully, in moderation, without guilt. 1. Acknowledge a desire as it arises. Just see it without judgment. 2. Mindfully evaluate whether this is something truly harmful or rebellious, or is no big deal. If it's heroin, it's harmful. If it's chocolate, no big deal. 10 bars of chocolate, harmful. 3. Check in with your self-image. Are you clinging to an idealistic image, or is this honest? If it's not genuine, it's gotta go. 4. Explore how the desire and the genuine self-image go together or don't. Can you indulge this desire and still feel good about yourself? And 5. Go for it and let it go, or leave it behind altogether. Either do it and love it without clinging, or don't do it at all. You just listened to the post titled, Mindful Indulging, Having What You Want Without Guilt by Sharada Hall with tinybuddha.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. With Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. When I was looking to hire, it was so slow and overwhelming. I wish I had used Indeed. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. Dr. Neal here for my commentary. Many studies have been published looking at whether there's a link between feelings of guilt or shame about food and whether it contributes to overeating. And over, what researchers find is that feelings of guilt or shame about food tend to increase binge eating behaviors. But the good news is that researchers have also found that being mindful when eating can improve eating behaviors and our relationships with food. Mindful eating is all about self-acceptance and appreciating food with full awareness. More mindful eating, in fact, tends to reduce emotional eating and binge eating. Not only that, but being more mindful when we eat also reduces the likelihood for us to graze and try and find snacks throughout the day, and less likely to indulge in high-fat and high-sugar foods. So how do we go about mindful eating? Well, luckily, today's author, Sharada Hall, gave us some suggestions on how to do that. So now the question is, which one are you going to try? All right, that'll do it for another edition of Optimal Health Daily. I hope you're having a great weekend. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing this show with someone. And of course, I'll be back again with you tomorrow, so I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.